Hey, what do you say, boys and girls? This is Bobby Blitz from Overkill. That's right, I'm sitting in Columbus, Ohio right now, but you are on hardrockhaven.net. See you soon.
All right, we have the one and only Blitz of Overkill. Thanks so much for doing this again.
Number four.
Number four.
Number four.
Here in Columbus, Ohio.
Happy to be in the rock and roll state of Ohio, I'll tell you that much.
You guys are out on tour with Nile,
Yeah.
fellow Nuclear Blast recording artist.
Yes.
What's it like going out with those guys? Have you ever played with them before?
It's our first experience with them. I'm obviously aware of the band. I mean, they've been around since the early 90s, and aware of their impact. They could do this on their own, I think. They could go out on tour. But it's always nice to have a package, I think, in the current day, because it just, I don't know, ups the value of the tour. You know what I'm saying? So we've been subscribing to that mentality for 6 or 7 tours now. We did stuff with Creator, Symphony X, etc., etc. Prong was out on the road with us for a while. So it works, and these guys are the real deal, and that's that's what I like to see out on the road, is that we can offer a package that is the real deal. So great touring with them, great people too.
And you've got a great new record, The Grinding Wheel, that you're touring on. So congrats on that.
Thanks, sir. I'll pay you for that later. I'll drop you that 10 later.
Can you talk a little bit about the writing process on this one? It seems like you guys took your time and really,
Well, it's one of the things that we have at this point in our careers is a little bit more the luxury of time, and that's because Dee continuously writes. So it's just, he's always collecting riffs. So as these songs develop, we also have 2 studios at our disposal. Dave Linsk, Dee Verney have like identical studios, the same boards and everything. The only thing we have to go out of house for is to get good drum sounds, find a really great drum room. So what I mean by that luxury of time is by having those studios, it's not like, okay, we've booked studio time and now we have to get the record done on the clock. We can think about it, we can record it, we can go back to it, we can check it out, we can go out on tour and then go back and start recording, which is some of the things that we have done in the past, and I kind of like that. I kind of like being on the road. When I'm demoing some of my stuff, I'll demo it in the back of the bus because, you got that live vibe going on with, you're coming off the stage in Columbus, throwing down, a chorus to one of the new songs in the back of the bus. That live vibe will probably transfer. So it developed over the course of about 8 months, but the writing was really about a 2-year period.
Whatever happened, it was worth the wait. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy with it. I'm excited.
And longtime fans will notice that there's a new member of the band on tour right now. Speaking, of course, about your mustache.
Oh my! I thought you were talking about the Mexicutioner.
Oh, I guess
Eddie Garcia.
Yeah, there's Eddie. Yeah. We'll get to Eddie, but the mustache, yeah.
It's my womb broom.
What? Love it. I love it.
I finally reached puberty at 57.
Well, you mentioned Eddie on drums. Can you talk about just getting to know him? How did he come into the group?
Eddie's been part of our team since Ron's been part of our team since 2005. He came out very soon thereafter. He was our sound guy, and he played for a band called Pissing Razors. We had an issue with Ron. He had broken his wrist. I think it was back in 12, and we were scheduled to do 70,000 Tons of Metal, 2 shows. We really like Andy, who puts it together. He's a friend of ours. We said, hey, here's our situation. We're going to slide Eddie in. So Eddie has played with us in the past, filled in for Ron. So when Ron just didn't want to tour anymore, or just couldn't tour anymore, it seems to be a personal issue that he has, Eddie just was the slide in. Just, move over, and, it's kind of cool that he's already part of the team and you know him personally. It's not like, we know him personally. We know what to expect from his, what he brings to each day. So he's a good choice for us to have, and lucky to have him as part of this team.
Absolutely. The fans that got the CD version of the record had there's a cover tacked onto the end there, Emerald by Thin Lizzy. Can you talk a little bit about the selection there? I mean, obviously there's green.
Yeah, I never thought of that.
Plays into you guys, but
my zipper's down.
It's a good thing you got
Helps
that.
a singer breathe,
Are you a big Lizzy fan?
They were one of the first concerts I ever saw. I saw Queen and Thin Lizzy open for them. Actually, the second time I saw Queen, but I was probably 17, 18 at the time. And I was at Madison Square Garden during, I think, when the Boys Are Back, and Queen was doing Night at the Opera. But I went a few years before and saw Sheer Heart Attack from Queen. But Thin Lizzy was always kind of part of this, and they're really a precursor to the new wave of British heavy metal. I mean, there should be more than just an asterisk about Thin Lizzy, because those original guitars, Brian Robertson, those harmonies are like, it spawned Maiden. I mean, to some degree, you know. I mean, when you think about it. So Mr. Linsk was putting in my ear Emerald, and I was like, why does he want to do Emerald? That's it's all those guitar parts. So he wants to get up there and soapbox his talents, which I think is a great thing, because Dave, in my opinion, is one of the secret weapons that we have. That fucking guy he's in the top fucking 5 guitar players in the fucking metal genre as far, just hands fucking down. That's just the way I look at it. So him doing Emerald was just a great choice. It was really his choice, and he pushed for it. But I just agreed 100% because it's obviously democracy here. So, and I thought it was a great, great way to kind of update something that was classic and have Dave show his talents.
But here I had it all wrong. I thought it was the green thing.
It's a green thing.
Yeah. Well, you got the mean green.
Mean green.
Yeah, absolutely. There's another song on the track involving colors, red, white, and blue, and that kind of sounds a little political. It's appropriate with that chorus, the "Give Us Liberty" and all that. Can you talk a little bit about the lyrics?
It's very simple. I'm not getting political on that, believe it or not. It's the front lines view of what's happening. That's all it is. It's the guys, maybe thoughts from sitting in the foxhole and looking at the approaching, the anti-liberty that is approaching, for instance. And what he thinks and how he goes through that job, that kind of an approach. It's more of a homage than it is some kind of a political shot. I mean, it's not by any means anti-military. It's more of a thank you, with regard to, how the song was written. And I always think, we all say that, oh, well, thank you so much for your service and everything, but I don't think that it ever gets said enough. It's just kind of the way I think about it. I have the right to run around out in the road for 35 years and be an asshole because somebody else is defending my right to do so, and if I can't be thankful for that, I can be thankful for nothing. So it was really just a homage to our boys and girls out there in the front lines.
Amen to that. Valentine's Day just happened. Are you still in the chocolate business?
No, we sold it about a year and a half ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, this probably would have been your time of the year.
This is, yes. Yeah. My wife was just saying that. We were just talking on the phone. She's like, I would have been so busy this whole week, And she was like, well, fuck. But she never got a chance to come and tour with me, during that 12, 13-year period we had the business. And she sold it in like 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it was unbelievable. I mean, we were signing the contracts over 2 weeks after she put it up for sale. It was that quick. Because the business was great. There was no reason for it not to sell. I mean, the numbers were like, huh? You want this for that? We'll take it. That's as simple as it was. So.
Growing up, did you have a favorite chocolate bar, candy bar?
I was never really the chocolate head. It was my wife's idea of romanticism. I mean, she's a Dutch girl. They grow up on chocolate. She's right on the Belgian border, the Netherlands and Belgium, and she would go and she was eating Belgian chocolate as her first stuff. She had high-end chocolate. So the whole idea of this was, when we talked it over, it validated her moving and immigrating to the United States to actually have purpose instead of just being my girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? That's like, who the fuck wants to just be my girlfriend? That doesn't make any sense. You want your own fucking life, right? So that was the whole thought behind that. She said, I want something that makes me me, and that's how I ended up getting into chocolate, because she loved it so much that I learned so much about it from that point on. So.
Black Sabbath just played their last gig as like a major touring band.
Yeah.
You guys are a metal band. What does that mean to you? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, for sure, it's the end of an era. But I mean, let's be realistic here. They weren't around for a whole bunch of time before that. I mean, they existed more so in our memories of the 70s and 80s, as opposed to being an active touring band. But I thought that their reunion was just fucking fantastic. Just the fact that they got out there and did it again and wrote a great record to go along with it on top of that. Right? So it was valid. But for sure, it's the end of an era. I mean, that's as simple as it is. If you look at it that way, then for sure it is the end of an era.
Overkill's 3+ decades into your career. Do you see that there will come a time you say your farewells to the stage, something like that?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to die up there, I don't. I mean, I've had a good time here. This is a great place for me. This is, and I still enjoy it. That's why I still do it. If I stop enjoying it or can physically no longer do it at the level I like doing it, and hey, take it easy. You've been good to me. But I mean, I understand that time ticks on, I mean, I like the fact that I'm getting older. It's not, and that's not to keep me from the stage. I just like the fact that things change for me every year. But I don't know when that's going to be. But obviously not on this year. We still have the energy. If you press play on the grinding wheel, you can hear it.
I listened to the grinding wheel and then Necroshine, and I don't know how you do it. Like, there's no difference in your vocals at all. I mean, it's amazing to me.
Well, I never buy my drugs on the street. I go straight to the fucking pharmacist.
Top shelf. You mentioned the 70,000 tons of metal in the previous year, but I know you guys just did it. What was that experience like? I saw a picture with Joey and Chuck Billy, and it seems like you guys were having a good time.
Yeah, it was killer. I mean, it was, it's so relaxed, which is really the opposite of the antithesis of what this whole metal thing is. I'm not saying we're not relaxed people, but there's a certain tension that's around the show. It's a positive energy, but it's tension. You can feel it. It's tight. Everybody wants to get out there, fucking play. And on the boat, it's I think I had a little sunburn. So it's a whole different, it's a tenseless type of approach, and you see old friends. I see Joey. I was, hanging around Frankie Bello and I know the Testament guys because we've been on the road with them. Big Carcass fans, so I saw Carcass twice. I saw the band Grave, Arch Enemy. I like Michael from Arch Enemy. We're friends from way back. So it's good. It's like a reunion, and you're also backstage with all these people. It's like 3,500 people backstage with you. So it's kind of cool. You're at the bar, you're having a beer with some guy from Columbus and a girl from Costa Rica and a guy from Russia. So it's a really, really unique experience.
Definitive Overkill record for a new fan or a newcomer to the band. What would you recommend?
Well, the shit has started so long ago. I would have to go back, and I wouldn't go to the first one. I would go to Horoscope. I think that was really a defining record for us, and I think it's something that for everything post Horoscope we kind of took with us along the way. Kind of kept adjusting or refining those elements that made the band exciting for us. That being groove, thrash. I mean, it contains a lot of shit on that record. And I think over these years, we've done all that stuff. So, I mean, for that era, or the beginning, I would say start with that, go to the Underground and Below for the middle, and then later on Ironbound, and, of course, buy the new one. I have to pay the rent, so you have to. It's actually a mortgage.
Moving up in the world.
So, we mentioned some of your other friends in thrash, but there's new albums from Testament. Anthrax had a great one. Megadeth just won a Grammy. I guess Metallica was there. Their sound guy wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great time to be a thrash fan. What do you attribute to that? I mean, like, it seems like there's a renaissance happening.
I think, with regard to its popularity, it shows validity, first of all. And the fact that it transcends generations also shows its validity. It's a valid form of music. It's undisposable. It's kind of like smelted in the underground. You know what I mean? That's where our metal comes from. It comes from the underground, and there's something cool about that because it's harder to fucking throw away. It's not a derivative or a reaction to popular culture. It isn't. It's unpopular culture, and that's fucking cool about it. And I think people are attracted to the unpopular because it becomes much more special to them as opposed to being the sheep. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I'm going to tweet, I'm going to talk, I'm going to Facebook, how many likes do I get? Oh my God, it's amazing. Fuck that. We're metal guys, and you're metal guys and metal girls, and and that shit's special to us. But I think one of the reasons it stays is that the youth has given it legs again. I think that the experienced old farts and old warhorses like ourselves have the experience and the songwriting knowledge and can know how to make good product, positive product. But the youth is what gives it its wings or its legs. And I think the fact that they're in there either playing or supporting the scene is what has kept it around or has reestablished or given it its renaissance.
Growing up as a kid in Jersey, what were some of your favorite early concert memories? Like, do you remember your first favorite show, or when you first got into going? Was it that?
Yeah, it was Queen. 1975. I was 15. It was Sheer Heart Attack. They played with a band called Kansas that opened for them.
Little
It was a
zone
30,
band.
3,500 seat theater in Passaic, New Jersey.
Wow.
I was in the standing room, and Queen came on late. They came on like an hour and a half late. And I know my father had called the Passaic police 10 times by then. Passaic wasn't the greatest of all towns back then. But in any case, he called the police, and they were like, "No, everybody's calling here." This is pre-cell phones, right? I mean, it's
Right.
like you got to call the cops to find out where your fucking teenage kid is. It's my kid down there. But it was a great show. I mean, and to see one of the greatest frontmen of all time, bar none. I'm going to say the greatest frontman of all time, bar none. Freddie Mercury was for me hugely inspiring. And so that memory has always stayed with me. And I know that nobody's going to come to an Overkill show and say he doesn't have any Freddie Mercury in him. What are you, crazy? But he knew how to present himself. That's really the thing. And if I ever took anything from Freddie Mercury, it was how he presented himself with confidence. He could present himself with confidence. And I think that that's probably, from my earliest concert, that's what I took with me and still to this day use it.
There was a time before thrash. I know you guys have been there since the beginning, but what was it like? Can you talk a little bit about what was the scene like in Jersey pre-thrash really making it a big deal?
Well, when we were when this started happening, nobody knew what was happening. We were just playing heavy metal. It got the moniker because of the similarities that all had. You could put it all in a box. What was happening in the Bay Area or in Essen, Germany or in Jersey. It was all kind of like, oh, it's kind of similar, and I think that that's where that came from. But we used to go out and see bands like Twisted. We would go out and see cover bands in Jersey. Jersey has always been, people in New Jersey work hard and they party hard. So the weekends always had huge venues filled with cover bands doing Priest songs, doing Maiden songs, you go see Twisted Sister do covers. I saw Twisted when I was 18 doing cover songs. You know what I mean? So, you could see all this stuff like on the weekends, but it wasn't like a real big original music scene. Now, when the thrash stuff came in and it started exploding all over the place, and clubs like L'Amour in Brooklyn, New York, and then in Queens popped up, there was now an avenue to present that live music, and then there was no fucking stopping it. That was once people saw how hungry the other people were for this stuff, not just Overkill, I'm saying the entire scene, that those music venues started popping up all over the place. So for people who worked and partied hard, it was a great place to be a headbanger back in the 80s.
That's awesome. Just going to throw a couple questions out at you. Art-wise, what's your favorite album cover of all time?
Oh shit, Overkill or?
Just any artist. I guess you could be vain and pick Overkill.
No, it's probably I know this is going to be weird, but I always wanted to have the Sticky Fingers by the Rolling Stones thing. That's like a Warhol photograph.
Yeah,
it's the guy
with the zipper. Yeah,
it's the guy with the zipper. Yeah. I think that's.
Although it's fucked up the vinyl, that design, because if you stacked them up, that zipper would rub up against the original record. Right. Yeah, the real. Yeah. Growing up, you went to some shows.
Yeah.
You have a T-shirt that you really enjoy, that you're like repping at school or whatever.
You're not gonna believe this, man. I went to fucking prep school.
You couldn't do it.
There was no wearing T-shirts at that school. There was, are your shoes shined? Is your hair above your ears? It was Salesian monks when they could hit kids. And guess what?
You got it.
I'm talking tie, blazer. Wow. You know what I'm saying? So, of course I had T-shirts. I lived like a regular kid on the, after the school hours on the weekends. But I think I have an old Van Halen T-shirt that I have laying around. It was one of my first purchases when I think they were opening for Ozzy. Or I think they opened for Ozzy, like on the Van Halen record.
Was it Black Sabbath?
I don't know if it was it Black Sabbath?
It was Sabbath. Yeah, you're right.
You'll Never Say Die.
That's right. So I got the Van Halen T-shirt.
That's a solid one. What do you? I know we just heard your dinner order, but what do you like to eat on the road?
Not what I just ordered. I really don't, but I know that if I order that, it's going to be something safe that I'm going to get back. But if I went to go sit down, I'd rather have pasta, vegetables. It's real simple. It just, whatever you reflect yourself in with food while you're out here is what you get out of yourself. If you eat well out here, you will perform well. if you eat shit out here, you will just go right down the toilet quicker than everybody else. Hydrate during the day.
Yeah.
That's good.
I had a salad for lunch with a lot of tomatoes in there.
Well, it sounds like you've got a big year planned for Overkill, just in general for 2017. But what are the plans after this run?
Well, Didi and I just confirmed South America in May.
Cool.
There's going to be, we're working on a DVD in April, so it's going to be putting together all these pieces of it. So we have that project to do for a second run. It's got to be released for a second run in the U.S. by September. We just flipped booking agents with a company called TKO right now. And, I mean, I like working with new people sometimes because, you know, it's a great proving ground when you get somebody new that they really kind of up the ante. They want to make you feel really happy that you're there. So it's always a great first year. And our European agent's got us all over the place. She's just took in 2 offers from, Australia, Loud Park in Japan, some stuff on the Pacific Rim. She just booked us through Russia and Ukraine, and then a whole bunch of other festivals, you know, all summer. So we're going to be busy the entire summer with a second U.S. run in September and a second European run in November into December.
Staying busy.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they're not like the long kill you tours. They're not 6-8 week tours. You know what I'm saying? Some of these shows are like, you know, 12 days that we're out. But I mean, and you want to ask me, they're the ones I fucking love. I love those 12 days out, 12 days home, 12 days out, and it's just fucking perfect.
Do you like touring in the cold? It seems like we always see you, and it's balls, you know, freezing out there.
It's the best time to tour because people have less things to do.
That's
a
true.
good point.
They have
Yeah,
less
I
choices.
never
If
thought
you're
of
out in the
that.
summer, everybody's at the lake, throwing a barbecue. Oh, geez, I miss
yeah.
them. But I'm really, you know, it's really good to see Grandma. You know, that's
Yeah.
what it is. But if it's like, it's fucking Wednesday night in Columbus, Ohio, you got shit to do unless you're a fucking hockey fan. You know what I'm saying? So come see the Overkill show. And that's, yeah, I mean, it's just a setup for...
That never occurred to me. That's
We're the
awesome.
business, guys. Family. Where's family?
Thank you so much for
My
doing this
pleasure.
again.
Always a pleasure.
Great
boys.
talking to you.
All right.